Orks, 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 orks. That's right. We're collecting orks now. So welcome back to a bit of a special video. We are building Ghazghkull Thrakka as we are now collecting orks. I think the Armageddon box set, as you can see down there, it was a really nice introduction into really good sculpted orks. And I've been in this hobby now for about 25 years and I've never collected them. So let's unbox Gaz. He's obviously not a brand new miniature. However, for me now, just starting to collect orks, he is a huge miniature. I mean, just look at the actual size of him. And if you put him there at the back next to the size and scale of an orc war boss. So he's a humongous miniature and I'm really looking forward to having him being that flagship miniature. So I do want to build this quite desperately, as you can tell, but just have a quick look at the sprues on here. There's some really big pieces to it, and I'm actually quite surprised that it's not made of, you know, more pieces. I mean, this component here being half of his body and leg and horn, this is quite impressive, but I need to be careful building this. I want this to be, for the 12-hour challenge that we're going to paint him in, to be a really fun, easy to disassemble and put back together miniature, like we did for the lion, like I had to do for Gilliman. It's always easier painting in part for me. So we're going to see what tricks we can pull out of the bag. So here we have our instruction guide. So I can either have him leaning forward, blasting away, or I can have him screaming and shouting with smoke coming out of his weapons. I think we're going to do leaning forward with just ammunition spilling out. Let's get into building this as we update you all on the channel. So I'm really pleased to say that in the 6 months that we've been running this channel, we've had a really good reception from everyone. It's genuinely been amazing. I didn't expect it to grow this quickly, which has been fantastic. So thank you all of you that have joined the channel. It means the world to me. It really, truly does. And part of that is, what are we going to do going forward? I want to see more painting challenges on this channel, but I also want to start doing more tutorials as well. Because I think the painting challenges, as fun as they are, I can't do my best work under a painting challenge. As you can see with my Heresy miniatures, I've been taking my time with them, and so the results from them are much better. I mean, look at the Legion Standard and even my Centurion. They are finished to a much higher standard than the Orks that I have in front of me for the 48-hour painting challenge. Because they had to get painted in no time at all. I mean, the bases are still to be done on them. I've done a few, like the Acrylic and the War Track and stuff like that. So yeah, I want to be working on a few better painted miniatures rather than more painted miniatures. However, one of the other things that I am doing this year is going back into doing a bit more gaming. I mean, we have 11th edition that's launched, so I want to play 11th edition. So basically, since starting 3rd edition Horus Heresy, I have amassed a massive amount of miniatures. I have 5,500 points worth of minis. So I'm not lacking in terms of miniatures. I was lacking in terms of time, but I mean, even that's not really an excuse now. I have time to play. So I think what I want to do now is have a well-painted army. But yeah, we want to play. Everyone's in it to have a good time. Now, this miniature itself is courtesy of War Office in Rochdale. This video literally would not happen without them. So a huge thank you to them. There is a link down in the description below with their website. Please have a visit. They're amazing. Andy, who runs the store, is just incredible. Lovely person to talk to. You get used to his humour, don't worry. And again, without his support, I don't think this channel would be doing anywhere near as well as it is now. So thank you so much to Andy. Thank you to War Office, and let's get back to building Gaz. So in terms of the Orc army, I want to build a starter 2,000 point list. Now, I have about 1,000 points. I think with Gaz, it's maybe 1,100 to 1,200-ish. I'm looking at expanding it. Obviously, things like the new Ork trucks, I think, look really cool. If we get new battle wagons, maybe looters and things like that, that's all up my alley. I really, really like the Ork aesthetic. Everything looks like it's from Scrap Heap Challenge, if you remember that show. So far, this miniature is like you would expect from any Games Workshop piece, going together really nicely. There's not been any mismatch of components. I haven't looked out massively for sprue lines or anything like that. I'll do that before I prime it. The other thing, if you're building this miniature, which I highly recommend, I mean, Gaz is one of the best looking miniatures in 40k. It is annoying that one piece will be on sprue 1, the second piece will be on sprue 2. That keeps happening. The other good thing about Orks is they are literally about to have a brand new codex, which is a very good time to buy a new army. So we get a massive, uptick of new miniatures. So any of you that are thinking or have just bought the Armageddon box or thinking of getting the Armageddon box, now's a great time to be an Ork player. You have some of the best miniatures available. I mean, the fighters and bombers, I think, are some of the best looking aircraft in the game. And we have some of the best looking tanks. And you get, all these different beasts if you want squiggers. And there's so much variety that I just think they're a no-brainer army. Why it's taken me 25 years to get them is another question entirely. But they are fantastic. I am looking to paint up about 2,000 points worth of Ultramarines. So I do have miniatures that look reasonably good for the tabletop. I just don't have many baseline units like intercessors and, that kind of thing that I do need to spend more time on. So I really want to go out and spend more time painting them to better standards. But let me know if you want to see challenges of me painting, units for challenges in short periods of time. I think that's a really good two-way street. It means that I get through the miniatures quicker and you get some interesting videos and interesting techniques of how to speed these processes up. Painting miniatures can take a long time, and I think these sorts of challenges, whilst they don't yield the best results, do actually yield you a painted army. And plus, Bob really wants some friends. So, having painted up the Armageddon Orks in 48 hours, I think I'm going to really enjoy having 12 hours to paint Gaz. So I'm looking forward to actually making quite a big deal out of him and having him as that centerpiece for the army. Again, the size and scale of him, by the time he's on a base, he's going to look mental. So we have a little bit of an update now. His arm is complete and ready to be glued in place. This is, again, sort of like one of the big decision factors where I need to look at it and figure out, am I gluing it in place now? Or is it something that I can leave for a little bit? And it seems it'll hold in place. It'll hold in place and come off. And you can just sort of twist it in. It sort of locks in just under the knee. So you don't have to glue it so, rigidly just yet. So I'm going to hold off from that. Ideally, I want to be able to take this apart, reach more areas, do better painting in more places. So yeah, sub-assembly for me is always great for that. So as I flip-flop through the armies that I want to paint this year, I did mention obviously my 9th Legion, my Blood Angels, Horus Heresy miniatures. I think just to clarify on them as well, I have 5,000 points. That is a freaking lot of miniatures. And I'm under no illusion, I am not going to get 5,000 points worth of miniatures painted in 6 months. Not when I also want to do 1,000 points of Ultramarines, in addition to what's already painted. And with my Blood Angels, I mean, I'm going out to play 1,000 points with the local game group. So 1,000 points needs to be a minimum for me. 2,000 points would be great, but I don't think I'm going to have time, especially when I start doing a few more Orks, or if I do, more Space Marines in the future, with the Ultramarines and painting more of those, for instance. Before we continue, I do like doing this prior to fitting the miniature on, which is actually fitting the base. Otherwise, what ends up happening is you have a fully weighted base, and it's going to struggle to sit as well when it has a chunky model that might be knocking off its weight balance. Just get this glued in place first, and then you don't have anything to worry about. So I'm intrigued as to how many of you at home can actually, go out, purchase multiple different armies, and, have masses and masses and masses of unpainted miniatures. Or how many of you, take your time with your miniatures, take your time with your armies, and basically don't buy anything new until you've painted it. Get this clicked in place. Just hear an audible snap. There we go. I had a feeling that would be the case, and it was. That claw is looking menacing, to say the very least. So that would obviously just sit across the other side. Now I can't seem to find the right angle. There we go. Yeah, it kind of sits in there with some authority, which is kind of useful. Again, size comparison next to any other orc, he is humongous. So in terms of orc lists, what is it that you guys most recommend? Are we talking battle wagons? What else do I need to really get to ensure that I have a powerful force? So a little bit like the push fit miniatures, they did the heads in two parts. So they had like the tongue sticking out with, all the mouth details, and then they have the headpiece that goes over it. And they've obviously done that here without push fit. I find it really interesting that that's like the method. Just because the heads are so much bigger than like Space Marines, they can get away with such, better techniques to have way more detail. Actually, one of my favourite details from this miniature is just like the ammo fees just rattling out. And the thing is, painting orcs, like if you look at Ghazghkull, most of his miniature is black. Very gothed up. But the reality is there is so much detail to him that you can quite comfortably, spend way longer painting like your cross hatches or your checkerboards, whatever you want to call them, and putting in extra iconography. So the next fun thing is actually finding out where to glue it on the base. So you can see through here, it gives us some form of instructions of how it goes on. It doesn't seem to have like a feel fit for when it's in place. So you just kind of have to hope that you've read the image correctly. It's a little bit tricky to find the right spots. Like that kind of feels about right. So I suppose a little bit of the downside with these orcs being so creative and a little bit ad hoc is I'm going to say that they're a little bit more difficult to build. So yeah, don't get me wrong, he's not actually like a horrendous miniature to make. He's tricky in aspects that I don't think I was quite expecting him to be, but he's not actually that bad. Certainly it's nice that he can at least be built in sub-assembly and that some thought has gone into being able to have access to certain components on him. Also, playing him in game, obviously we've got a new codex coming out, but have you found that you play most of your armies with Gaz? Do you play less armies with him? Do you play just normal war bosses? What's your kind of meta, your army structure that you like to go for? Just so that I can have some ideas when I build mine. Certainly in terms of vehicles, boys, how many boys do you have? How many vehicles do you have? What do you find successful? Although, to be fair, I don't really care about success. I do kind of care about rule of cool. Right, last up for him we have his minion, which the name of it has completely left my head. It'd be nice if they'd actually put it on the box, just so that I would be able to see who it is. Bannerman, which is a little grot. Again, this grot dies constantly, so they just change him. So he's always got a new grot following him, and So this little grot has one of the worst gates that I've seen so far. It is a big gate right under an armpit, so it's in a crevice. Guys, come on. Again, this miniature is like 50 quid, which, you know, it's a lot of money. And for that kind of money, you do want, like, your grot to be able to be clipped out without being completely janked. So 50 quid is a lot of money for what is a fantastic miniature, a centerpiece, but, you know, essentially 2 models. And is he worth more than Guilliman and the Lion? And in terms of his looks, his dynamics, yeah, he's an awesome miniature. He has a little bit of customizability as well, so they've not forgotten about him in that aspect. The pains that I'm finding with him are usually with the sprues, but also things like where they're placing the gates. The thickness of the gates in some spots are a bit awkward. But little things like his little banner guy, where that gate is just horrendous. Like, how has that got approved? So as you can see in the background, we have shots of him fully built up with his little banner. Honestly, he's such an amazing miniature. I can't wait to paint him. I think I'm going to fall in love with Orks again, after already falling in love with them with the Armageddon stuff. That was like, what a freaking awesome army. And I'm so blessed to have, you know, 38 painted miniatures stood in front of me. Now we're going to go up to 40 with these two. And they're so characterful. Gaz is characterful. In both of his poses, he looks really freaking awesome. So yeah, hopefully they improve the sprues going forward. That's all I can really ask for. Especially with a big miniature like him. I feel like the Lion was so cleverly done. He didn't really have major issues with like trimming bits off, finding pieces. And all those pieces like were so eloquently put together that they hid things like flash lines. It was just a very well put together piece. And that's kind of what I was expecting from Gaz, especially for 50 quid, and it didn't quite live up to it. However, built up, it is an incredible miniature, and I'm so looking forward to doing him justice. I can see little bits of flash lines that I have to work on before I actually paint him up, so there's still work to be done. And if you've enjoyed these videos, then please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. We have the painting competition coming next week. It'll be around midweek, Wednesday-ish. So if you've enjoyed watching this video and you like Orks, then please check out my painting Armageddon Orks in 48 hours. It was a really fun challenge. They came out so well. I'm so happy with them. There's still little bits of work to do, especially with bases, but they're looking fantastic and I can't wait to get them on a table. And otherwise, we have a full Warhammer playlist right here. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to my Patreons for keeping the lights on. List of them here. If you want to join our Patreon, you get free entry into our monthly giveaways. Speaking of which, congratulations to Christopher. This is getting shipped out on Monday. So well done for winning that competition. We have them every single month. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.